a bad mood, gotta keep it tight. Hold my baby squid, keep him out of sight. Talking about my life, government, stay away. Watch me drive, I'ma do it my own way. Squid in the ocean, swimming all alone. Ain't nobody telling me where to go. Living free, gotta stay true to myself. No need for interference from anyone else. Squid pro quo, that's the way to be. Living on my terms, setting myself free. I'm out to my baby, protecting with my no government intrusion. I control my life.
Hey y'all, it's Squid. Welcome back to the channel. Baby girl says hello. How is everybody doing on this cold but extremely sunny? You can see, like, extremely sunny Thursday morning. You're beautiful. There you go. Have a high five. Whoa. High five. Thank you. Hugs. Thank you. You are such a sweet girl. I love you so much. How is everybody doing? Oh my god, it's been a crazy morning already. I actually have makeup on this morning because the little decided that she wanted to wake up at midnight last night, crying and screaming. I don't know what was wrong. I still, to this day, like to this hour, don't know what is wrong. She was crying like she had a nightmare, and she didn't want anybody but me. I couldn't even go to the bathroom without her screaming. You ever try to go to the bathroom while holding a 2-year-old? It is not an easy feat. Luckily, her dad kind of woke up, even though he was extremely tired. He woke up and because she was in bed with him. So I just went to sleep in her room because I'm like, okay, she's going to come in here eventually. Like, I'll just take care of it when the time comes. Well, I didn't expect her to be screaming for half an hour. So we're extremely exhausted this morning. Both her and I. So we're gonna try to get into this the best we can. I managed to at least shower, straighten my hair, and put some makeup on this morning, which is a feat that I did not accomplish yesterday with the hair, or the makeup. I don't know, but we're gonna get into this. So like, there's still like fuzzies in my hair right now. I don't know, but it's been an interesting morning. I've already been on the phone with 2 people. Like this whole experience of like that we're going through right now is, I understand why people don't like this process because it sucks. Good morning, Colleen. How are you? Cat and Kern, Flash fan, yes, please like and sub and share and do all the YouTube-y things. I would really appreciate it. This stream, we are going to get into what we were talking about, I believe, on Monday. This week has been, I can't remember what I talked about and when. And morning, Carol, Nanny Goat, Captain Kern, Angel, and hey, Joe, how are you? We are going to talk about Maya Kowalski. This case was from the fall of 2023. This case actually, like the events of this case happened in 2017. For those of you who aren't familiar, a little TLDR. It was covered heavily on Megan Fox's channel, but it's oh, thanks, Colleen. Sorry you and your little had a rough night. It's kind of one of those things of, she's usually such a good sleeper in the sense of like, as long as somebody's with her. She has a problem with sleeping by herself, just because we got in that co-sleeping, like she'll go to sleep with her dad and she's used to someone being there all the time. They have the same bedtime, because he wakes up at like 2:30 in the morning. for work. So they have the same bedtime. So him going to bed with her at night is not like an unusual thing. Like usually most of the time he goes to bed before her. But she's usually such a good sleeper, and she's never really woken up just screaming. No night terrors or anything like that, or things that we've been concerned about. So when she does do it, it is jarring for me. And Mr. Squid too, but he can fall asleep anywhere. I'm pretty sure he could fall asleep standing up. So like he goes to bed right away after, she stops crying and she's calm. Like he falls asleep almost immediately. Me, on the other hand, I sit up and I worry, is she going to do this again? I do the mom stuff. My brain starts going, and then I can't fall asleep for like an hour or two. So she's doing fine this morning. Mama brain, not doing fine. And hey, Josie, Uncle Hero, thanks for the $2 super chat, getting us started off right. Getting back to the TLDR, this is about Maya Kowalski. She was diagnosed when she was very young with CRPS. Her parents could not find much to control her pain. Her mom was a nurse. Her mom was also an immigrant from Poland. So if you know anything about Eastern European women, they are very strong-willed. They are very straight to the point, and sometimes brash in how they approach topics, in the sense of like they don't sugarcoat anything, in my experience, because welcome to my family. However, she took her daughter to Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital, known as JHACH, and she wanted things done, and she was getting some treatments with ketamine done, to try to do anything. Like, this family was desperate to help their daughter. Well, along comes Sally Smith, and she is a child abuse pediatrician. I hate that phrase. I hate that word. I hate that title. And accused Beata Kowalski of child abuse, of abusing her daughter, Maya. 3 to 4 months go by of Maya being in this hospital without being able to see, talk to her mom, and then the 7th floor coven comes along. And everybody, in my opinion, failed this child. And although they said that her mom had Munchausen's by proxy, they were billing the entire time for CRPS. Tell me that's not fraud without telling me. So, yeah, is right. So, needless to say, Beata Kowalski, unfortunately, in the desperate measures to save her daughter, unalived herself, tragically. And the family, Maya, her dad Jack, and her brother decided to sue Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital. Well, 7 years later, and in the fall of 2023, it finally goes to trial, and the jury awards Maya $262 million, which was remitted to $209 million. Well, of course, you sue any large company, and you get that kind of award, and they are going to fight you. JHACH had some questionable ethics issues, as far as hiding a Joint Commission report in their Heart Institute, and some other questionable, shady lawyerish stuff. And Ethan Shapiro, in my mind, was just creepy for looking up pictures of a 17-year-old girl at prom. So this is going into, this has been appealed February 14th. I wrote it down. I will look in my calendar because I don't want to give you misinformation. February 12th. At 9:30 a.m., it is set to be heard as oral arguments in the 2nd District of Florida, or 2nd District Court of Appeals in Florida. So if that is streamed, because sometimes on the District Court of Appeals websites, they do have streams where you can look into these. Yes, JHACH, so wrong all the way around. And because this is a very sensitive topic and a trigger warning for a lot of people, we dealt with it in the sense of memes and dark humor, because at the end of the day, some of these things, if you don't make fun of, and I think that's where some of the haters of a lot of these channels that I follow don't understand the dark humor. Sometimes you need to make fun of things in order to not go insane. So you might hear things that you don't like. See, she climbs up on the table. You might hear things that you don't like. It is one of those things of, we understand that there are real ramifications with this. It's just with the sensitive nature of the topic. It is, dark humor is the only way we can cope without going insane. Megan streamed this entire trial. This is where I went from being a casual fan of Megan to watching everything she does. We cope with dark humor and dark chocolate, as Mo says. And, you know, just so if you hear things that might offend you, I apologize. It is not meant to be offensive. It is meant to be a coping mechanism. And thank you, Lynn, for becoming a new member of the Tentacle Nation. And alternate juror, good morning, Sunshine. How are you? The little says hi. She's currently sitting on my table. But sitting on my table playing, pick your battles wisely, you know? So we started talking about Monday about an issue going on between her legal team from the trial. And we are going to get back into this. I will link. It's not a table. That's a really big chair. Yeah. Well, the thing about it, and IT Goatee, good morning. And you know how this goes. I would rather have her on a table playing with one of her toys than somewhere in the house climbing on something where I can't see her. So y'all know how that goes. She's at least playing with her own toys. So there's a plus. You did not just call her a boomer. So I will link part 1 of this in the description. It is also in my Take Care of Maya playlist. This is something that I don't like talking about because we saw her trial counsel as family. I don't know them personally, but a lot of LawTube interviewed both parties. And now it's like mom and dad are having a fight. And whose side do we choose? So I had to go get blood work done the other day, and I decided to pay for it out of pocket instead of going through the VA to get it done. I just went to the outpatient labs at the local hospital, and they charged you, and I had to use my credit card, obviously, and I opened up my wallet, and the phlebotomist is like standing there, like waiting for me to hand me the card. I open up my wallet, and this little one grabs the card and hands it to her. And I'm like, she's 2 and she already knows how to pay for stuff. This is a problem. This is a problem. So we are going to get right into this because after the stream, I have to run errands. I also have to stop by the possible new house because there's an inspection going on today. So we have to figure this out. I would rather wake up to a dog barking than a baby crying, especially when you don't know why said child is crying. Run errands. Errands. You know, the Midwest. The Midwest comes out at me, and I don't pronounce the D in errands. And don't even comment on what I just said, because I realized after I said it that y'all are gonna have way too much fun with that. However, here we go. I'm gonna see if this layout, there we go. That layout looks a little bit better. The too much shit to do list. Yes. Like, I feel bad because yesterday I was trying to get the little down for a nap, and we are like anti-naps these days. And I text her dad and I'm like, I'm sorry, no nap today. Like, it's not for a lack of trying, but a couple people, mainly Georgie and Coop, invited me on their stream, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get her down for a nap. I have 3 loads of laundry to do. Trash day is today. So yesterday, you go through everything, you clean out the fridge, all the usual Wednesday, like, do everything around the house, you know, scrubbing toilets kind of a day. Run, Aaron, Sally Smith isn't coming. And hey, Joanne. And hey, Christine, how are you this morning? All right. So the first part of this is basically her trial counsel. One of them quit, got fired. The jury is still out on exactly what happened. I've read the filings all the way back to July. This is like watching mom and dad, you know, go through a divorce, and it is not fun. I don't like reading it, but it is very important to how the case is going to be handled forward, because it is going in front of the Court of Appeals, and who is going to represent Maya and her family is up in the air right now. So this is the only thing I have a problem with right now. She is standing up. Sit down, please. No. Oh, I will be right back. I have to stop her from standing up. Yes, you are allowed to play right here, but you are not allowed to stand up, because you are going to fall off and hurt yourself, and that is not a good thing, and Mommy does not want that to happen. Yeah. Are you taking over? She's taking over as usual because she's the cute one of the operation. What's today? Today's Thursday. It just makes me so mad that a nice, wholesome family like the Kowalskis shit on by CPS. Then you have Lynette not being shit on at all. Who needs to be shit on by CPS? It's maddening. And yes, and this is one of the reasons that the other case is interesting as far as the child is concerned, is because of the disparities in how she did it again. Angel, down, please. Thank you. Ma'am. You know, pick your battles with her being up there, because I can see her. I just don't want her standing up there. Yes, Baby Squid is the boss. Yes, the disparity in how, and not just these two cases, but like cases all over the country, of how things are handled with CPS, and especially in Georgia, because we all know we've seen the Hernandez family and another couple families in the state of Georgia. So that was the reason when Bubble Brain threatened me with CPS, I was like, oh no, I ain't doing this. We aren't doing this false accusation crap, because I've seen enough to know that I'm gonna put a stop to that before you even start it. Hey, Rebecca, how are you? Okay, good. I thought I had to stream at noon, but that's Friday. It's the disparity. So right now there is a discrepancy with her lawyers. Nick Whitney had left. There is an issue with how he left. Angel. Part of the problem right now is I have all her toys that I am donating before we possibly move, because they are selling this house, so we have to move. It's where we are moving. That is the $1 million question. I have no idea. But there's toys that aren't developmentally appropriate for her anymore. So I put them on the table because I help at an ABA clinic for autistic children, and they could always use more toys, because some of those children are there 40 hours a week, and things get destroyed very, very fast. When you have multiple children all wanting the same toys and not being, like sometimes people throwing things and they get broken, and so I am donating all the toys that are not developmentally appropriate for her anymore. With that being said, I put them all out on the table so that I could pack them all up, and she's now wanting to play with every single one of them. So Nick Whitney left, and apparently there is a discrepancy of who is going to maintain. Okay. Yeah, well, it's mostly just a selling them is not it's not appropriate because they're not worth, like, they were $10 to cheap. I'm not going to try to sell them for anywhere near what they're used, but listing them for like $1 or $2, I'm not taking the time. It's not worth the money. But like, I'm passing them along to somewhere where I know they will be used. And if they get destroyed, it's no big deal. And if they're not in perfect condition when I donate them, it's no big deal because there's a good chance they will get destroyed anyway. So it's kind of one of those, there are things that when we move, we will probably have to downsize the size of the house we have. And there are things I just don't want to take with us. Girl, you're going to bust your butt. There's no other way to describe that. Like, so, we are going to get into this. I read the earlier 46 pages. This is multiple motions put into this 73 page document. This is from Greg Anderson in regards to Nick Whitney leaving the firm and who is going to represent Maya Kowalski and her family. It's an ethics thing. And luckily, because of the fact that I looked up the code of ethics for a certain bubble brain, we have it readily available, that if we have questions and we need to look up the rules of professional conduct for the Florida Bar, I have them on my computer. Woo, toddler life. You just emailed me a photo. I thought I saw something pop up on my email, but I wasn't like... That's hilarious, but you're giving her too much credit as far as like not looking like a complete crazy woman. All right. This is where we left off. Contact with the Kowalski family made by Mr. Whitney was in violation of the rules regulating the Florida Bar. Undersigned counsel next asked this court to consider Mr. Whitney's conduct with respect to the Florida Rules of Professional Conduct 4-5.8c, which states as follows. Lawyers leaving law firms, absent a specific agreement otherwise. A lawyer who is leaving a law firm may not unilaterally contact those clients of the law firm for purposes of notifying them about the anticipated departure or to solicit representation of the clients unless the lawyer has approached an authorized representative of the law firm and attempt to negotiate joint communication to the clients concerning the lawyer leaving the law firm, and bona fide negotiations have been unsuccessful. Well, going back, Nick Whitney did send an email with a form stating that they need to go through all the clients that they had in common. Apparently, Greg Anderson seemed to forget about that problem. There we go. Yes. We are having a day. I do not condone contacting anybody or anything, but that would be quite the situation because I wonder what Sally Smith would do. I will be right back. She is not listening to me. Shocker, right? A 2-year-old not listening. Hello, she is mad at me. I took this away. so she can't climb up on the table the easy way. Yes. Hey, come here. Somebody mad at me. Girl, you want to knock that over. Angel. Angel. Come here, beautiful. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You want to say hi? You say hi? We're hyper focused on one thing right now, and it has nothing to do with wanting to stay off the table. Now she's just proving a point. Angel. Girl, now you're just being destructive for the sake of being destructive. Come here, Angel. Oh my goodness. And get your belly. Look at yourself. Look at you. Whoa. Sorry, guys. You want to come up here? Or are you going to be mad at me? No. Are you mad at me? Sorry, guys. Hey, Joe, Sally Smith is a whole different area. I believe she no longer works as a physician for DCF anymore. I don't think so either, but it's one of those questions of like, I don't think, in my opinion, that Sally Smith has the best reputation as far as doing the right thing. And JHACH was a questionable operation. So I'm curious as to what she would think. I don't particularly like her. But I'd be curious as what the villain in the other situation would think of this situation. The YouTube stuff notwithstanding, I just want to know if she walked into this situation and she was this child's doctor, what she would think. All right. So, long story short, Mr. Whitney did send an email saying we need to figure out what to do with these clients that we have in common, and we need to figure it out. And I personally believe that I like Greg Anderson. I like him as an attorney. However, this is written like he is butthurt and he is being petty. If you recall back from Monday's stream, he said some things that were extremely petty, and he worded things and added extra non-important details in the event of being petty. Yeah, well, that too. Yeah, her priorities are off, so that would be a big thing. Mr. Whitney appears to have contacted the Kowalskis in violation of this rule 4-5.8C1. At no point since his exit from Anderson Glen has Mr. Whitney attempted to reach out and conduct bona fide negotiations with Anderson Glen related to informing the Kowalskis of his departure from the firm. As such, any communication by Mr. Whitney to the Kowalski family was in violation of Rule 4-5.8C1. Mr. Whitney clearly understood the Kowalskis' commitment to stay with the firm Anderson Glen LLP. As a result of the affidavit of Jack Kowalski filed in opposition to Mr. Whitney's noisy and totally unnecessary withdrawal from the case after his departure from Anderson Glen in July of 2024. See affidavit of Jack Kowalski attached to hereto as Exhibit C. Here's my problem with this, is there's two issues that I have. And I could be completely way off base with these issues, or I could be right on track. I don't know. I don't talk to the Kowalskis. I don't have any insight. However, with this, you're dealing with not one, but two people. 3 different entities, Maya herself, Jack himself, and Jack as Beata's estate. However, Jack wrote the affidavit, not Maya. Maya is now 18 years old. Maya and Mr. Whitney, from an outside perspective, seemed to have the yes, this was in Sarasota, I think Sarasota County, Tampa area. So this is also in Florida, which just makes it all the more crazy. Which also begs the question of the other case. If Florida has these child abuse pediatricians in their hospitals, why has Miss Preston not taken the little girl to the hospital and ever run across one of these people? Because these people are not good people. In Florida, in Georgia, in Pennsylvania, these people are not very well liked people. But you're dealing with two entities. So maybe Jack Kowalski wanted to stay with Anderson Glenn, and Maya did not. Also, there's the assumption here that Nick Whitney reached out to the Kowalskis. Maybe it's the other way around, because he says that he has, or Greg Anderson says that he has not had contact with them since Thanksgiving. So did you ever stop to think that maybe Maya reached out to Nick Whitney? In which case, there's another conundrum, because he could say you have to talk to your lawyer first, or he could, like, I'm not privy to those conversations, so this is just me speculating. Speculation warning. How it's just weird to me that the assumption that it's a big assumption that he reached out to them and not they reached out to him. Because he did in his emails when quitting or getting fired or however it went down. There's two sides to the story, and neither one of them are probably 100% accurate, because there's always three sides to a story: your side, my side, and the truth. So it's so interesting to me that this is happening and that there are assumptions being made by Greg Anderson. I am 100% sure, I don't know what they are, but I am 100% sure there is a hell of a lot more details to this story that are not being shared in any of this, because Nick Whitney sent an aggressive text message. What was it and what caused it? These are questions that I have that I will probably never get the answers to. So Mr. Kowalski's affidavit in the trial court makes clear the Kowalski's choice, satisfying 4-5.8D of the Rules of Professional Conduct. Suffice it to say, Childers Law and Mr. Whitney contacted the clients of Glenn Anderson LLP unilaterally with no legal or ethical authority to do so, and likely poisoned the relationship. Well, they might have reached out to Jack after there's two other members of the family that are involved in this might have reached out. We don't know. And to assume, this is the problem I have with legal documents, and this is why I like to read all the legal documents from both sides, is because this might not be 100% accurate. This is his interpretation of the facts. But, bye, Lynn. This is his interpretation of the facts. But they might not be all of the facts. All of the facts. And this is where writing legal documents gets fuzzy, in the sense of you only put in, it's like writing an article. You only put in what you want the people to see. You don't put in all the dirty laundry on your side. You just put in the dirty laundry of the person you're fighting against. So I am interested to see what happens with this. But this makes me sad because JHACH is reading all of this and watching all this go down and like getting some sick pleasure out of watching the good side fight. Like, tell me I'm wrong. Without undersigned counsel even knowing what was going on and no ability to defend themselves, Mr. Childers and Mr. Whitney told tales for one purpose: separate the Andersons and the firm from their long-term client. Further, the new lawyers instructed the Kowalskis not to speak with or respond to their counsel of 7 years, giving us no ability to even address the allegations so the Kowalskis learn the truth. Well, there's also another thing I have with this. Like, how do you know the new lawyers instructed them not to talk? Like, that's what was said to you, but is that accurate either? Conclusion and request. Undersigned moves this honorable court to enter such an order as are necessary, including denying the motion for substitution of counsel and entering a temporarily relinquishing jurisdiction for this specific issue to be remanded temporarily to the trial court, and moving forward with the oral argument scheduled for February 12th of 2025 as scheduled, as it is the best interest in of the parties, especially the appellees, to resolve this case as expeditiously as possible. And in the event this court grants such a motion with no opportunity for the undersigned to even be heard, at least require those protections required or recommended under the rules of judicial administration to protecting the fees, requiring reimbursement and costs of and other such relief as the rules provide. Oh. Who gives a shit what those vultures working for JHACH say? Sock cluckers. No matter what the lawyers on the other side does. I understand that, but like, you remember how one of the things that I don't like to air dirty laundry or certain things on the internet because the other side gets some sick pleasure out of like watching people that they don't like fight. It's and my issue with this is I can understand that Anderson Glenn might have an issue with everything and want to protect their clients, but at the same time, forcing yourself to be someone's lawyer is also a little shady to me. And basically not this denying the motion for substitution of counsel, basically saying you're still their lawyer when they might not want you as your lawyer, also screams to me as a giant like nightmare of like, I just can't see, like, when I tell a lawyer that I don't want them to be my lawyer anymore, like that stupid issue I had with a real estate agent the real estate agent that I had told, we don't want to work with you. And then they would still like text me. And it was like, I've told you I don't want to work with you. And you still text me. Like, that's a problem. Yeah. And this is what we don't know. And that's what we don't know. And we I don't believe I don't try to make opinions or say what I believe. Actually, because I don't know what I believe yet, because I'm only hearing one side of the story. I haven't heard. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they had to downsize their house in order to take this case. And their law firm, which is just Jennifer and Greg at this point, this is basically what their whole reputation was based on. And they won, but like JHACH is doing everything they can not to pay. Do you foresee Anderson Glenn that also suing the Kowalskis for fees they end up going with the other firm? That I don't know. I have no idea. Based on how this is written, And the fact that we talked about some very petty statements that were in this. Hey, Mr. Coop, how are you? This is going to be messy. No matter what happens, this is going to be messy. This is going to be messy. So this was submitted on the 6th of January by Greg Anderson and Jennifer Anderson. So, all right, this was also filed. This was filed 11/6. This was the trilogy trial consultants that Anderson Glenn believed overcharged the Kowalskis for their role in this. And these people, trilogy trial consultants, are being represented by Childers Law, which is where I agree that a conflict of interest comes in. That's my problem. That is my problem. Bye, dear Rexy. That's my whole problem with Nick Whitney at that other firm representing the Kowalski family, because that law firm also represents trilogy trial consultants, which you can't have. That is a direct conflict of interest, having a person that they are suing. You just can't have both the defendant and the plaintiff in that case in one law firm. It just doesn't work. Like, that is a direct conflict of interest. All right. So, trilogy trial consultants, the plaintiff versus Anderson Glenn LLP, and individually Gregory Anderson. Complaints for damages. Plaintiff, trilogy trial consultants. Plaintiff for trilogy files this complaint against the defendants Gregory Anderson individually and Anderson Glenn LLP collectively as defendants, as alleged as follows. Jurisdiction and venue. This action for damages exceeding $50,000, excluding interest, costs, and attorney's fees, and this court has jurisdiction. Venue is proper in the 6th Judicial Circuit in and for Pasco County, Florida, pursuant to sections 47.011 and 47.051 Florida statutes. Payment was to be made to plaintiff as its principal place of business in Pasco County. Parties. Plaintiff Trilogy Trial Consultants is a Florida for-profit corporation with its principal place of business in Wesley Chapel, Florida. Trilogy provides trial support services to law firms. Wherefore, plaintiff requests court enter final judgment in favor of plaintiffs against defendants Gregory Anderson for fraud in the inducement plus costs and all attorney's fees to which plaintiff is legally entitled, as well as such further relief as the court determines necessary and just. Demand for a jury trial. Plaintiff demands jury trial by all issues so triable. Plaintiff reserves the right to plead punitive damages for defendant's willful, improper conduct as provided by Florida law. And then prayer for relief. It's this is handled by Childers Law, where Nick Whitney works. That's the conflict of interest. Then we have the exhibits. In the Circuit Court, 12th Judicial Circuit in for Sarasota County, Florida. Maya Kowalski, Jack Kowalski, individually, Jack Kowalski as personal representative of the estate of Beata Kowalski against JHACH. And then this is the affidavit for Gregory Anderson. That is part of the issue in this. This is just a giant shit show right now. And I hate covering it, but it is vital to how this appeal from JHACH happens. And it's just so sad to me that this has to be happening. And I did a video on it back in July where I initially mentioned that Whitney was out and all the documents that were filed. And the problem I had with it. And I got shit on that video because I was airing dirty laundry from the plaintiffs. and that they thought that I was horrible and a bad person and this and that for talking about this. Well, guess what? Shit like this, I'm pretty sure happens a lot. And I call bullshit out where I see it, especially since I have no skin in the game. I don't know these people personally. I've seen them, people that I have talked to personally, interview them. However, that still doesn't make me their friend. That doesn't make me not cover the drama that they cause, because I just cover it all. Oh my goodness, King Paco, I am so sorry. Today's not my lucky day. My mother had a theater. I hope that she is going to be okay. You have my thoughts and prayers. Oh my goodness. Why is everyone always trying to tell you how to run your channel? $1 million question. But it's not just me. You see people telling Tug, Megan, Shizzy, a bunch of LawTube. You see people giving their opinions all the time. And I am open to constructive criticism if it's constructive. But when you just tell me that I shouldn't be covering something because you don't like it, that's a you problem. I'm going to cover this, and this is vital to the story, because depending on what happens with this affects when those oral arguments are heard in front of the Court of Appeals, and also who makes those oral arguments. And if we all of a sudden get footage of the oral arguments, it might be streamed, it might not be. Some are, some aren't. I will have to go to the 2nd District Court of Appeals website and look. However, if we all of a sudden, we know that Nick Whitney left, and now we see Nick Whitney representing them, or we see somebody completely new representing them, and we don't know why, well, I just failed on reporting a big part of the story, and I am not a reporter, but like, this interests me, so I'm going to talk about it. So, opinions are like, everybody's got one and they all stink. Yes. Sorry to hear. Sending prayers. King Paco's sending prayers your way. You have the support of everybody here. Affidavit of Gregory Anderson, State of Florida, County of Sarasota. Before me, the undersigned authority personally appeared, Gregory Anderson, who, after being duly sworn, states as follows. I, Gregory Anderson, have been duly sworn to hereby depose and say that I make this affidavit regarding Kowalski versus JHACH based upon my background and personal knowledge as attested to herein. I further say I am the age of majority, and if called to testify at a hearing, can and will testify as follows. I'm a resident of St. Johns County, Florida, and I'm over the age of 18. Lord, I would hope so. I am an insurance, defense, and product liability attorney who takes a plaintiff case when I believe my abilities will help plaintiffs, each of whom I select very carefully. One of the cases was the Kowalski family. My background, training, and experience are set forth here too in Exhibit A, my CV. Briefly, I'm a board certified in civil trial practice since 1991 and business litigation since 1996. I am admitted to the North, Middle, and Southern Federal District Courts, as well as the Eastern District Court of California and multiple other federal courts, including United States Court of Federal Claims. I've argued appeals before the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th Florida District Courts of Appeal, the Florida Supreme Court, the Georgia Supreme Court, the Delaware Supreme Court, as well as the 5th and 11th and other federal circuit courts. Neither Mr. Whitney nor Mr. Childers contacted me or anyone else at Anderson Glenn LLP before filing the December 20th, 2024 motion, other than a terse letter telling us that we were discharged. Neither Mr. Whitney nor Mr. Childers had any right to contact the Maya, Jack, or Kyle Kowalski at any time without the permission of Anderson Glenn LLP, or until we are ever discharged. Since Mr. Whitney and Mr. Childers' involvement, the Kowalskis have refused to communicate with me or Jennifer, even with the knowledge of Jennifer Anderson's illness. Okay, prayers for Jennifer Anderson. However, that statement right there was not necessary. Like, sometimes just because you can say something doesn't mean you should say something. And that's the problem I have with the people in the First Amendment. Like, either way, like, I understand the First Amendment, but like, sometimes just because you can say something does not mean that you should say something. So I believe some of these things are like, feel bad for me, my wife is sick. Not that I don't like Greg and Jennifer Anderson, but that right there was like trying to show that my wife is sick and they don't care. Yes, he's playing every card he can. And I don't like, well, I'm not a fan of when people play certain cards to try to get empathy when that has nothing to do with the facts of the case. Jack and Maya Kowalski never once voiced a concern over the 7-year representation by Anderson Glenn LLP, or at least until it appears Mr. Whitney and or Mr. Childers got to them. Well, Maya Kowalski was also a minor, so her opinion, to an extent, didn't matter. Because her father was her representative because she was a minor. So she could have voiced every opinion that she wanted to her father, and her father could have said, no, don't care. I don't know that he did. That's just hypothetical situation. Further affiant saith not, the 6th day of January, 2025. State of Florida, County of Sarasota, the foregoing instrument was sworn and subscribed by means of physical presence. Gregory Anderson, who is personally known to me, or was produced a form of identification, Notary Republics. Exhibit A. Here is the resume of Gregory Anderson. Practice areas: liability, professional liability, aviation law, admiralty law, commercial litigation, appellate practice, insurance defense, aquatic accidents. I mean, being in Florida, you'd think aquatic accidents would be like on everybody's resume. Warranty law, wrongful death, and corporate litigation. Years in practice: 39, senior partner, Anderson Glenn LLP, 2012 to present. President, senior shareholder, Anderson Glenn LLC, 2005 to 2012. President, senior shareholder, and I know they have to do this. This is just like, this is the time to brag about yourself, right? Hey, Greta. Are you causing trouble? Are you causing trouble? Oh, yeah. We have a thing with water lately. We like spilling our water and then like stepping in it. This is basically everywhere he is. You're done. You're done. You're done. You're done. Go get it. Go get the towel. Go get the towel and wipe your hands. Yes, go get the towel and wipe your hands, baby. We've started this thing where we take a sip of water, we spit it out, and then play in the water. Because she can't get the water out of that cup. It's spill proof. So she gets around it. Did you get the towel? No. Okay. Personal educational, March 7th, 1959 in Chicago. Secondary school, Episcopal High School, Jacksonville, Florida. Undergraduate, Duke University. AB Honors, 1981. Research assistant to Professor Joseph Cruzel, PhD, International Relations. Nova Southeastern University, Broad School of Law. Editor, Law Review, 1982-83. Research assistant, Professor Stephen Witzowski, 1983. Young Lawyers Division, Judicial Scholarship. Admitted to the Florida Bar in 1984, and all his admittance to the district courts. Pro hoc vice, accepted for representation: Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, New York, Delaware, Connecticut, New Jersey, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, Texas, Kansas, Missouri, Montana, California, Oregon, Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. He's tried a case in Puerto Rico? That had to be interesting. And all his board certifications, because, you know, professional associations, Florida Bar, Southeastern Admiralty Law Institute, National Institute of Trial Advocacy, Lawyer Pilots Bar Association, Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, Defense Research Institute, American Association for Justice. Spelling there, sir. Justic. I am big on spell check, especially if you're going to put it in a filing that a lot of people might see. Example of reported cases. The one that stands out to me is well, it's not on here. It is not on here. He sued he sued a he wrote a book on an a helicopter accident in California, and that book is looks more like a textbook than like a Pro Hoc Vice. I still like Pro Hoc Vices just because of Jeff. I think that would have been funny. This is what he I'm trying to find the word or the how come he doesn't have it in here? He does not have okay, cases aviation. Let's see if it's in here. Pratt and Whitney. There's also the case that he handled in California. It's not in here. I'm trying to GE right here. Anderson Glenn L. This is the subject of his book. It's the GE. Quid pro quo is Latin. Yeah, isn't it? Funny, huh? It's this one. GE. Oregon Circuit Court 2012. Anderson Glenn LLP was retained to represent the flight crew in the worst air disaster for firefighters in U.S. history. The NTSB, after initially finding it was a power loss at a critical point in the takeoff, then lost the engine parts involved in fuel delivery in transit from the accident site to the NTSB labs. The NTSB then sua sponte changed its opinion to wait as the cause and implicated the flight crew. All aviation attorneys involved dropped Rourke Schwanenberg, the deceased pilot, and Bill Coltis, the co-pilot, like a hot potato. At the Coltis and Schwanenberg families' request, the firm expanded its defense of the flight crew by asserting their personal claims. At one point, there were 167 opposing counsel who appeared against the firm. The trial took 6 weeks in Portland, Oregon, over 2,000 miles from the firm's offices. The jury deliberated for 2 weeks before returning a unanimous 12-juror verdict of $70 million in compensatory damages award to the two families. GE, United Technologies, Sikorsky Helicopter, and Columbia Helicopter all hired national firms and noted Portland Aviation Council to defend them in this technically complex case. The NTSB decidedly supported GE, Sikorsky, and Columbia in its opinion, and by relying on technical data and testing performed by the three manufacturers, Anderson Glenn prevailed. No, it's no worries, Nanny Goat. I couldn't remember either until I read it. It was one of those, like, I had to actually, like, look at the names, and then I remember Megan did a couple of chapters of reading of the book on her locals page, and that's around the time when everybody in this case went radio silence. No one had any idea what happened. Well, I was wondering why nobody was covering this. And then I did some research and I found out why. And so he's got a pretty long and lengthy, like, you know, of what he's done. But at the same time, it's like, it, I understand he's very experienced, but like, what happened that you're not saying? You're leaving something out, buddy. Because you're leaving out why Nick Whitney thought he was fired and what the original problem was and who actually contacted him or who he actually contacted. I would love to see the he goes into everything, and this is just basically his whole resume of every large case he's tried. Exhibit C, affidavit in support of plaintiff's motion to strike, motion to withdraw, and for entry of order prohibiting further filings of confidential client information. This was filed in Duval County, which is Jacksonville area. If I'm, y'all, my Florida people can tell me if I'm wrong, but Duval County is Jacksonville area, correct? Before me, the undersigned authority personally appeared Jack Kowalski, who, after having first been duly sworn, does hereby depose and say that I make the following affidavit based on personal facts. I am of the age of majority and called to hearing or trial will testify as follows. I am one of the plaintiffs. One of the plaintiffs. Like, one of the plaintiffs. Not the only plaintiff. And the other plaintiff is of age. So maybe there was some internal family stuff. Along with my daughter, Maya Kowalski, who herein adopts and agrees with my sworn testimony concerning the action of our former attorney, Nicholas P. Whitney, Esquire, and his filing of certain documents in this case. I consulted with Mr. Anderson, and although I am not waiving any attorney-client privileges and stating in generalities, I directed him to keep the matter as confidential as possible. Because we all know that that JHACH would use this against them. We know the court is aware of how contentious this litigation has been. This has caused tremendous stress and strain on our family. The 9-week trial and the aftermath, including attacks on Mr. Anderson personally, the statements made about us by the defense counsel, and statements made in the media have added to the stress we have endured over the past 7 years of this litigation and 9 weeks of trial. We wanted the loan matter concluded as quickly, politely, and with as little stress as possible under the circumstances. To that end, we have communicated virtually exclusively with Gregory and Jennifer Anderson on the post-trial matters, the appeal, and handling of any of our financial matters. Because of the notoriety of the verdict and the following of people in the media and private citizens, we wish to keep as much public attention away from us as possible. In particular, we did not want in any way any reference to any loans we took out or any perception of monies received by or through this litigation. I understand that we have a legal privilege against being forced to disclose financial information except under limited circumstances. I have been involved in the loan closing from the start and have been advised and kept aware of all aspects of the loan. I have reviewed the loan closing documents and the distribution of funds, the negotiations to reduce costs, and all other matters regarding the fees and costs arising out of the suit. I have previously executed a client statement of rights agreements for representation and explanation of fees. I receive regular bank statements provided by both Anderson Glenn, LLP, and independently by the bank. At all times, we know exactly where our money is and how much money has been dispersed for fees and costs for outside counsel. Maya and I have received and executed closing statements, which has had attached statements of outstanding costs, paid costs, and bank statements showing all disbursements. Mr. Whitney is not authorized to make any further statements about these matters to anyone, especially JHACH's lawyers. I mean, this is just messy, and I hate it. I hate it. It's messy. It sucks on every side of things. Like, I hate that I feel like I need to cover it. And I know there's people who hate me for covering it. But it's a huge part to the story. Especially because this is less than a month away from going into, yeah. And I understand, and I said this before, and I'll say it again, and I'll keep this same attitude until I hear some different facts. But no one would judge them for having to take out a loan. Like, I understand you want to keep everything in your financial matters private, but like, no one judges you for having to take out a loan, because everybody sees the facts of this case are plain as day. Plain as day. Like, the jury did not take long for this. Like, this was huge. And JHACH thought they could bully people around, and they effed around and found out. And I really hope when this gets to the Court of Appeals that they will just find out. There was supposed to be a hearing for sanctions that was canceled back in October, and that still hasn't been dealt with. So it's there was an order from today's the 16th, right? Yes, today's the 16th. Here we go. This was yesterday. So I will show y'all this. This is why I like to keep updated on things, because I started talking about this again on Monday, and this was just posted today or yesterday. By order of the court, motion to substitute counsel of record is granted. Selden J. Childers and Nicholas P. Whitney of Childers Law, LLC are substituted as counsel of record for appellees in this case, and Gregory Anderson and Jennifer Anderson of Anderson Glen are relieved from further representation. The motion for relinquishment of jurisdiction is denied. A resolution of these motions should in no way be a consideration on a comment on the assertions or arguments. Reading is hard. In the objection to the motion to substitute or the motion for relinquishment. I hereby certify that the foregoing is a true copy of the original court order. Oh boy. Yep, this was filed yesterday afternoon. So now their new counsel of record is Selden Childers and Nicholas P. Whitney, who are also representing Dr. Goodhair, Dr. Corcoran, in his lawsuit. So but it's just, I just find it, this is very interesting, because back when all this happened in the fall of 2023 and early 2024, when people were doing interviews, it sounded like that everybody had a good relationship with Anderson Glen, from witnesses to the lawyers themselves to the plaintiffs. Everybody seemed to be in a good place. What the hell happened? Like, this is just, to me, I don't know, guys. This is sad. We are all spectators, yes. And I can only comment from an outside perspective. Like, I have no inside knowledge of this. I just find this very interesting. And in the sense of, the only issue that I have with myself covering this is not to bring any negative attention on the Kowalskis, but like, this is a big deal. This was the last thing that was filed in the, so let's share this. So that was what was filed yesterday. But there is over 2,800 documents going all the way back to 10/5/2018. So a lawyer is a lawyer at the end of the day. Yeah. I mean, and Anderson is getting up there. Will he live to see a penny of any awards? I don't know. Yes, and that's this right here. And that's what I was like, well, Rogue Mama, I just feel bad in the sense of like, it's not exact details of dirty laundry, but it's like some things you just wish you could keep out of the public eye. And when legal documents are filed, basically stating that there is this case has been in the court system since 2018, but the issues happened in the court issues. The issues of the case happened in 2017, when I believe Maya was about 10 years old. So this has been going on for a long, long time. There's breaking news, more breaking news. What? No, and if you're just blowing smoke up my butt that I'm like, that I don't have Legos, or that you're doing a stream later, like, don't blow smoke up my butt. Please don't gaslight me. What is the breaking news? Like, should I check Pacer? Oh, see this right here. Slug, gaslighting. Knowing that I'm talking about a case, knowing that I've been talking about another case that has breaking news quite often. It's one of those things of like, I should have known. Yes, Flash fan. That was my own fault. But speaking of Slug being silly and being a pain in my butt, I am checking there is no new orders. So the last thing in the docket was yesterday, and that Bubbles' motion was denied. So I had to check, just because usually when I don't check, it's not insane breaking news. Breaking news, Slug's a pain in my butt. Just kidding. That's not breaking news to anyone either. That's no shocker. So I do have the merch store up and running. Everybody go subscribe. Yeah, that's never gonna happen. Like, apologize for what? Like, he doesn't think you can't apologize for something if you don't think that you did anything wrong. Therein lies part of a major issue with a lot of people, is people will never apologize to other people when they don't think they did anything wrong. And if someone apologizes to you and you ask them, what are you apologizing for? And they can't tell you, then we have a problem. All right, I am going to hop off of here because I have to go run errands. Also, to apologize, I'll make you an emoji for your channel with your head on a squid body. That would be hilarious. Pains in your butt? You have a few. Yeah, it's sciatica. My sciatica is named Slug, Unghung Hero, Bubbles. Actually, that's more like an arthritis pain that never goes away no matter how hard you try. Sciatica can be dealt with. All right. I am going to see who is live that we can redirect to. Hi, bye. Hi, bye. Oh, General, did you see the screenshot I sent you yesterday? Before we do go, though, I am going to, for those of you who know about Uncle Frank. Uncle Frank passed away. He was a viewer of my channel and many others. I considered him a friend. He passed away has it already been last week? Like, I just can't. Like, I just can't. Like, he was awesome. I'm trying to find sorry, I just went to my main YouTube page because I want to look up Yoda is doing a memorial from the VFW for Uncle Frank on his YouTube channel on Saturday. And I went to look up Yoda's page and it is not coming up for me, but it's weird. Yes, people need to stop dying. And speaking of that, not speaking of that in a specific manner, but if you're the praying type, in addition to King Paco's mother, send out some prayers for Unhung Heroes family. There was a not so great family tragedy that happened. And if I'm not going to get into it because that is not my place, but just send out some prayers and thoughts for his family if you're the praying type. And even if you're not the praying type, just send out positive vibes. No negativity, because 2025 has been a hot mess of 2025 has been just a hot mess of a year so far. And if we could have a redo, that would be great. Yeah, 2025 can suck it. Thank you. Here is Yoda's link. I have to open up the YouTube studio because I whoa. Hey, silly bug. And this is what she usually does. She plays independent of me on a daily basis for a good few hours in the morning. And that's one of the reasons that this morning time works for streaming, because she doesn't. This is the time when she likes to play by herself. She will play with her own toys, do her own thing. So it's like perfect. And I said it last night, and I don't want to be a douchebag, but and I feel even weird saying it. It's Vice's time frame. So Yoda is up to 597 subscribers. 597. Woohoo! I messed up on his I have to add his link to my link tree. Hey. My water bug. Grandpa just said hi. No. Whoa. Oh my goodness. So we are going to call it a day. I hope everybody has a good rest of the day and F 2025 so far. Yeah, Bubbles has been expunged in more ways than one. He managed to sneak his way out of some trouble that he was possibly going to get into. And that's even more unfortunate. But Bubbles just, like, I had no problem with him being here. However, when you insult people, and I've told you not to, I think he gets some sick pleasure. He gets some fetish or something that he gets into with making people hate him. That's why I just don't care generally, because like it's just it's one of those things of like I just don't. He's so bizarre. I'm trying to find who nobody's streams are coming up, and I know people are live. I've seen them. But nobody's stuff is coming up. Except for Rosalind Dukes, but that's not for another couple days, right? Yeah, January 26th. Rosalind has a tells people to F off, not a podcast, Deuce version on the 26th at 3 p.m. But I think I'm just gonna let you guys. Oh, Baker's not even coming up either. Let me search for him. Like right now, the only people that are coming up on my when I choose a specific video are upcoming videos from WDW Pro, Rosalind Duke, Lauren Knighty, MG Law, Mo in the Deep End, but these aren't for another few days. Even a Kwame Brown reacts to Tory, or Kwame Brown Bus Life even comes up on mine, but Baker doesn't. Let me search. Sometimes YouTube is very I don't know. Sometimes Broken Baker is streaming the West Virginia case. Is that oh, there we go. Natalie Cochran's Red Rum trial. Sweet baby Jesus. Sometimes YouTube makes things so difficult. All right, we are headed over to Baker. Tell him I said hi. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Tonight we will be either. I haven't picked a topic for tonight because there's so much I want to talk about. There's either confirmation hearings for some people. There's California wildfires that we could get into the drama from that, or the FDA finally bans a artificial dye, red number 3. There's so many things that we could delve into that I just don't want to. Oh, it would be like us going into the haters and making comments about Kendra, who is in the hospital. I don't, and that's their cousin, right? Cousin? Just, I don't know. Well, I hope Kendra, whoever she is, gets out of the hospital. YouTube, yes, YouTube is a-ho. Really, to beginning to wonder if Bubbles didn't get himself a 5 law certificate. I mean, I see a Rosalind. I got a video idea. Well, for her, not for me. She's better at that. I have ideas, but I have there's no execution. So I have no execution in any of these ideas I have. I have ideas, but I'm not good with that. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Go tell Baker I said hi, and I'll see you guys tonight. Bye. Oh, Harry, you're here just in time to say goodbye. I also sent you that case. She's accused of abusing she's the one who allegedly unalived somebody using insulin as her preferred choice of modality. All right, y'all have a great day. I will see you guys tonight.